Welcome back to Hannity and Combs. President Bush did not confirm or deny reports today that the NSA has secretly been collecting tens of millions of Americans' phone records. According to reports, AT&T, Verizon, and Bell South began turning over call records to the NSA shortly after the September 11th attacks. Joining us now, the author of Winning the Future, former House Speaker and Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich. Mr. Speaker, thank you once again for being with us.
Good to be with you, Alan.
Here's what the president said in April of 2004 about the whole issue of wiretapping and warrants. Here's what he said then.
Secondly, there are such things as roving wiretaps. Now, by the way, anytime you hear the United States government talking about wiretap, a wiretap requires a court order. Nothing has changed, by the way. When we're talking about chasing down terrorists, we're talking about getting a court order before we do so.
Then he said, when it came out a little while ago that there was some wiretap, he said it applies only to international communications. And now we're finding something else. So it just seems we're not getting a consistent story here, are we?
No, you're not.
Why not?
Look, I'm not, Alan, I'm not going to defend the indefensible. The Bush administration has an obligation to level with the American people. And I'm prepared to defend a very aggressive anti-terrorist campaign, and I'm prepared to defend the idea that the government ought to know who's making the calls as long as that information is only used against terrorists and as long as the Congress knows that it's underway. But I don't think the way they've handled this can be defended by reasonable people. It is sloppy, it is contradictory, and frankly, for normal Americans, it makes no sense to listen to these three totally different explanations.
Let me also
show you. I hate to disappoint you, Alan.
Well, I appreciate your candid response, and I'd like to show you what Alberto Gonzales said during his confirmation hearings on this very same issue.
While the President approved this program to respond to the new threats against us, he also imposed several important safeguards to protect the privacy and the civil liberties of all Americans. First, only international communications are authorized for interception under this program. That is, communications between a foreign country and this country.
Should Alberto Gonzales be called back before the Senate to clarify those remarks?
Yes. Look, I spent my career in the legislative branch. Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution is the Congress. It's not the presidency. The foundation of our freedom is the 535 elected officials in the legislative branch, and they have every right to demand of the executive branch clear explanations of what, to be generous, is a very confused and contradictory position. And I'm very anti-terrorist. I'm very committed to pursuing terrorists, and I'm willing to defend almost any program which is clearly, accurately defined.
Mr. Speaker.
This